What's up everybody, in this video I'll be going over how I believe we will be obtaining the Master Sword and any special abilities that it may have in this game. But before we get to that, please subscribe if you're interested in Zelda theories or more videos like this, as this video is part of a new series where I discuss possible ways to find certain items, locations, and secrets that I uncover within the hours of gameplay footage that we've seen. Previously I discussed my thoughts on how we will obtain the green tunic, so check that out after this video if you want. A link will be in the description, so remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. And with all of that out of the way, let's get started. One key element that was noticeably missing from the hours of gameplay footage we've seen is the Master Sword. We see Link wielding several different swords. The Traveler's Sword and the Soldier's Broadsword are just two of these. The Master Sword has only been shown off in the official logo, and for a few brief seconds at the end of the official trailer. And it looks like it's in a similar location as it was in A Link to the Past or Twilight Princess. The question here is, how do we actually obtain the Master Sword? And why is it so rusted and damaged? A popular theory suggests that the Master Sword is rusted due to the Great Flood, but this is unconfirmed. However, it doesn't take a genius to see that it appears to be in the worst condition that we have ever seen it. So something must have happened, and I believe once obtaining it, just like in past Zelda games, it will be our job to bring the Master Sword back to its full power. But first, how do we actually obtain the Master Sword? I think this is a little obvious, and we can look at recent titles for an answer. Most Zelda games, Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, and A Link to the Past to name a few, have you obtain the Master Sword once completing 3 dungeons. Before Breath of the Wild was revealed, it was rumored to contain 100 mini-dungeons and 4 main dungeons. Half of this rumor has turned out to be true, as the mini-dungeons are officially referred to as shrines, but we have no information on the number of main dungeons. So I have a few possible solutions on how we obtain the Master Sword, and they all follow the same outline as past Zelda games. The main quest will be for Link to find the sacred Master Sword and restore its power. If we only have 4 dungeons as the rumor suggests, we will conquer 3 of them, and in doing so, learn of the sword's location or obtain items similar to the 3 spiritual stones from Ocarina of Time or the fused shadows in Twilight Princess. In this game, you will collect these special items from the main dungeons, similar to the runes you collect in the shrines, and you will use these to unlock the door to the Sacred Grove or wherever the Master Sword is located. However, the Master Sword is still in a weakened state, and we can see this from how it is rusted and damaged. The 4th dungeon will likely be collecting something to get the sword to its full power once again, so we can finally fight Ganon. Or the 4th dungeon could be the final dungeon. If we have more than 4 dungeons, the first 3 will remain the same, a way of obtaining the Master Sword. But the next view will be a way of repairing the broken blade. In fact, with as badly damaged as it is, and seeing how swords can get damaged and break within this game, we may obtain the Master Sword and not even be able to use it for fear of breaking it. If this is the case, we may get the Master Sword early in the game and bring it to these dungeons to restore it, similar to Skyward Sword, where we transform it from the Goddess Sword to the White Sword, and finally into the Master Sword, and we will only be able to use it once it's at its full power. Aonuma has stated that as soon as we start the game, we can head towards Ganon to defeat him, but it's common knowledge that Ganon can't truly be defeated unless we use the Master Sword, which is why most Zelda games center around you obtaining this sacred blade. I believe you can fight Ganon from the very beginning, but it will be nearly impossible to actually defeat him unless you're using the Master Sword. Now for the abilities the Master Sword may have in this game. I think we will see one return from the original Zelda games in Skyward Sword, which is the sword beams. I think we will only be able to use them once the sword is fully powered, and we will be limited by a gauge that needs to refill, similar to Link's stamina or the magic from the Sheikah Slate, so don't expect a fury of beams like in Majora's Mask when you play as the fierce deity. Another ability I see the sword having is basically a one-hit kill for many weaker enemies. This may be obvious since the Master Sword is usually 2 or 4 times stronger than the sword we start out with, so naturally it will deal more damage in this game as well. Finally, I think it may be possible for Fi to return for a cameo, or at least be mentioned in this game. Maybe somewhere in the game a character will say that the sword has a spirit of its own, or speak of a legend that states the sword itself used to contain a spirit, which then it might explain why Fi doesn't appear in other Zelda games containing the Master Sword. Remember, this is all just a theory, or my thoughts on how we will obtain the Master Sword, and is still unconfirmed, but I would love to hear your ideas on how we may obtain the Sacred Blade. So comment below and let me know what item you would like for me to discuss next, or what my next topic should be. And please remember to subscribe so I know to continue this series. If you haven't already, please check out the first video in this series where I discuss how we obtain Link's green tunic. And if you really want to help support this channel, head over to my Patreon page where you can get videos early, give me ideas for future videos, and even join on future discussion videos with myself, McIntyre Productions, HMK, RMFH Gaming, Vortexy Gaming, and others. And as always, thank you for watching.